All right. So today we're going to cover Form 22P, which is the Skagit County Right to Manage disclosure. We had an agent who's looking at a property up there and didn't know if this form is always required or only at certain times. And to be honest, I've never read it. So I thought I would record while we read it together. There are other people on this call, so feel free to chime in with questions as we go, everybody. So let's dig in. So Skagit County right to manage natural resource lands disclosure. So we'll have to read it, but it might only apply to certain sized properties. So let's take a look. Buyer is aware that the property may be subject to the Skagit County right to manage natural resource lands disclosure, Skagit County Code section 14.38, which states, this disclosure applies to parcels designated or within 1 mile of designated agricultural land or designated or within a quarter mile of rural resource, forest, or mineral resource lands of long-term commercial significance in Skagit County. So it's not a property based on its size, it's based on its proximity to these other types of properties. A variety of natural resource land commercial activities occur or may occur in the area that may not be compatible with non-resource uses and may be inconvenient or cause discomfort to area residents. This may arise from the use of chemicals or from spraying, pruning, harvesting, or mineral extraction with associated activities, which occasionally generates traffic, dust, smoke, noise, and odor. Skagit County has established natural resource management operations as a priority use on designated natural resource lands, and area residents should be prepared to accept such incompatibilities, inconveniences, or discomfort from normal necessary natural resource land operations when performed in compliance with the best management practices and local, state, and federal law. So what does all that mean? Well, what they're saying is they prioritized natural resource activities, and they recognize that those activities can cause inconvenience and or noise, smoke, etc. And they're saying that they're not going to really give any credence to a neighbor that says, hey, they're making a noise and I want you to make them stop. They're not going to. They've said Skagit County has established natural resource management operations as a priority on designated lands. So as a listing broker up in this area, you would want to figure out every time you got a listing, if you are within a mile of designated agricultural land or a quarter mile of a rural resource forest or mineral resource lands of long-term commercial significance. I'm guessing that they probably have a place where you could look that up. But let's read on. In the case of mineral lands, application might be made for mining related activities, including extraction, washing, crushing, stockpiling, blasting, transporting, and recycling of minerals. If you're adjacent to designated NR, natural resource lands, you will have a setback requirement from the designated natural resource lands. Seller and buyer authorize and direct the closing agent to record this disclosure with the county auditor's office in conjunction with the deed conveying the property. That's so that if this were included, the buyer would be on record as having acknowledged this issue and they would have no way to complain about it. So the key for this disclosure is, could you record it on every transaction? Sure. But do you need to? Probably not. You just have to figure out if the property in question falls under this definition right here. And so we can do a little bit of Googling to see if there is a map, right? It's kind of like, have you guys ever looked up whether a rural property is eligible for USDA zero down financing? You just go to a website and you type in the address and it says it's eligible or it's not. Hopefully they have something like that. So let's see what the Googleator has to say about all of this. scoot you guys out of the way. That's it. Yeah. So you probably can look it up. My advice to Tina, the agent that raised this question, would be it really is on the listing broker to confirm whether this is needed or not. If they put it in the listing and you represent a buyer, then you could assume that they put it in there because they looked it up. If you're not trusting of that, call them. Say, hey, I saw you put a 22P in there. Is it really necessary? Did you verify that this property is within a mile of designated agricultural land or designated or within a quarter mile of resource, forest, mineral, blah, blah, blah. All this qualifiers right down here. Any questions from you guys before I shut off the recording on this topic?
I guess we can't try to look it up because we don't have the actual address, huh?
Right.
That's too bad.
I mean, we could look for, you know, some properties up there if we wanted to jump into the MLS and just see how often does a listing broker include it.
Just to see how the search works on their site.
Yeah. When it happens, it'll be or should be in the supplements, right? So let's take a look.
Can you look at Tina's transaction desk and see if it's in there?
No, I can't. She is not part of 10th inning. So.
Okay. Okay.
So it's Skagit. A lot. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add acreage. They get larger lots because they would be more likely to be in those areas. And then let's see. 22P. Here's one right here. So let's see what that agent says about 22P, or if they do. They don't really. But yet they included it. So maybe agents up that way are putting them in all of their listings, you know? Let's just check a few of them. Oops, went the wrong way.
I just noticed that that one said it's on like near bordering Anacortes Community Forest lands or something.
Yeah, so that one doesn't have it. That one doesn't have it. Okay, so it was just luck that the first one we looked at had it. But that would somewhat indicate, like we were talking about earlier, that hopefully the listing brokers are double checking and verifying whether it applies to the property that they're listing, right? All right, let me stop the recording.